On December 10th, 2025, Saline, Michigan, just hours after being fired as head coach of the University of Michigan football program, Sharon Moore is sitting handcuffed in the back of a police cruiser, accused of showing up unannounced and uninvited to a subordinate's home.
My client, I just left her there. She has just been attacked by a man that we reported for harassing her to the University of Michigan. The man who was in her house with knives, his name is Sharon Moore. He is the U of M football coach. He was just there attacking her and threatening her. She was on the phone crying with me, please get there right now.
Did you know she's injured at all?
No, I don't think so. She's in her house. I got her to lock the door. She called me and was screaming, and he was...
What is her phone number? What's her phone number?
Mine or hers?
Hers.
Her phone number...
Oh, Mr. Moore?
Yes, he's been harassing her for years. We just left the general counsel's office of the University of Michigan and reported him. They offered us security, but she was supposed to leave town already. She was packing her car and putting her things in when he approached her and tried to attack her. They know what is going on with him, and they're looking for him, I believe. I have been calling the general counsel's cell phone also to get him involved and get Ann Arbor security there, or U of M, and he hasn't picked up.
Outside the window. Stay in the car. Just stay right there. We're going to come to you, all right? We're here to help you, all right? Put your hands out the window. Nope, leave it open. Put your hands up. If you're not in trouble, we're here to help you, man. Don't bring back You're good. We're gonna pat you down, okay? You're not in trouble.
1811, we're secure. We're out with them.
Clear security, let me look the jail.
Go ahead and put the
Apron.
back, okay? You're not going to jail, okay? But you're not going to jail. We are going to retain you.
Mercy traffic lifted on Metro East. Secure.
I can't get handcuffed. I got an awful shoulder and it hurts so bad.
How about we use two pairs, okay? We'll give you a little more extra room, sir. What's your wife's name? Kelly. And what's she going to be driving?
She's got
There isn't already water.
Okay, what color?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
a caller from my phone.
Is it?
Make sure it's in my car. You can get it.
Can I go in your car,
Yes,
sir?
ma'am.
Okay.
Can we walk back to my car so you can
Can I turn your car off, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hang on, real quick. So, do you want me to, you want me to call you Mr. Moore or Sharon or?
Whatever.
Okay, so, is Sharon okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, in addition to that, we have some criminal charges for unlawful entry and an assault. So,
Assault?
I know, just hang on. I was not there. Officer Escobar was there. He talked. So we went to condo after she called us. I again was not there. So Officer Escobar kind of has that side of the story. So before we do anything, like I said, you're under arrest for those charges. We have. I understand.
Anybody.
Hang on.
She's
So
in my life, man.
hang on. I get it, man. It's stressful. I can't put myself in your place. Just real quick.
She's in my life right now.
Before you answer any questions or make any statements, Ms. fully understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk with a lawyer and have one present while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights, not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of these rights as I have explained them to you?
Yes.
So, again, we just have her statements. I was not there. I didn't talk to her. Officer Escobar was. Having that in mind and having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, I wasn't there. Officer Escobar was. We got a call from that you were at the house and you weren't supposed to be there. Can you explain to us what happened today?
Yeah, I went there. I got fired today. And I know exactly what happened. So I got fired because of a relationship with her, unfortunately, outside of my marriage that happened, and I was done with it. I wanted to let her go, but I couldn't because she told me she would sue me. So I did not fire her, and she was my assistant. So this goes on. This happened a while ago. It's done. There's an investigation about a whole bunch of other stuff, about other women, other people, which never happened. They I get pulled in the ward's office. I get fired. I go to her place, to her house. I did not touch her. I did not put a hand on her. I did not assault her and do anything to harm her whatsoever. I got mad and then I yelled, but I did not touch her in any way, shape, or form. And then I walked out and I got in my car and I drove off, and that's where you guys found me.
Okay.
And there's no one ever told me not to go over there. There was not like, hey, don't go see her, don't see this, because I hadn't seen her in 2 days.
So previously there was an investigation with the school, and like because of her position and your position.
Yeah.
You ended up getting terminated today.
Yes.
You had that meeting with Ward.
Yes.
And then after that meeting is
Yes.
when you, like, did you have any contact with her after the meeting, or did you just drive over to her?
I tried to call her.
Okay. So tried to call her. When you show up at the house, where is she at?
She's right in the kitchen.
Okay.
And then she walks away.
Here's a question I have for you. How did you get into the house?
The door was open.
Okay. Like, so just showed up at the house, went in, like, do you have keys to the house?
No, the door was just open.
Okay.
I knocked on the door and the door was open.
Okay. So walk into the house and you find her in the kitchen.
Yes.
So conversation that takes place in the kitchen was
Just like, what is going on? What is going on? And she says, well, you're not supposed to be here. I said, what? You're not supposed to be here. I said, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Are you trying to ruin my life? And then she says, you have to leave. Get away. I'm calling the cops. And I left.
okay. So I don't know what her kitchen looks like.
I can describe it exactly. So she lives in. So I walk in the house. There's a kitchen which is connected to the living room, and there's a bar like middle,
an island.
like an island.
Okay.
She's right there, and then she walks away, and she goes to the living room spot, and I don't get anywhere. I'm not even this close to her. I stay away from her because I don't want any physical. I'd never touch a woman ever in my life, ever. I would never do that. I have so much respect. I have 3 girls. I then leave after that. After we have that conversation, I leave. I didn't touch her. I didn't do anything besides we yelled at each other.
Okay.
But I did not touch her. I did not assault her.
So all verbal.
All verbal, 100%.
Were there any threats made to her?
No, absolutely not.
Understanding the circumstances, was there anything along the lines of like, you know, because of what she did, there's going to be any type of
No, absolutely not.
So basically what you're saying is the conversation you had was like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? And what was she saying back to you?
She's just saying leave. Like you don't need to be here. I don't want to see you. You don't need to be here. I don't want to see you. You can't be here. And then that's when I got mad, but I did not go anywhere near her. I didn't cross the island. I didn't do anything to her. I did not touch her. I would not ever physically put my hands on any woman, period. And I left.
So when she walks away from the island, you're on the opposite side of it.
Yes, sir.
She goes into like a living room area.
Her living room area. And then she gets on her phone.
And you didn't block her way,
Hell,
didn't
absolutely
get in her way.
not.
She walks away, you stayed in the kitchen?
In the kitchen.
Okay. So like, because there is a relationship that took place, I don't know what your relationship, I don't need to get into your personal life. How long was this relationship for?
I mean, she's been my assistant for 2 years, but I mean, I've known her for three years.
And then these are like, again, these are legal questions as far as like the circumstances. This is not me trying to pry into your personal life. Was this, I'm assuming this was an intimate relationship?
Yes, we did have an intimate relationship at one time, yes.
Okay. So, So,
But it wasn't multiple, like 2 years throughout 2 years. It wasn't like that.
okay. So she told us and talked to Officer Escobar. She said that while you were in the kitchen, you removed 2 like butter knives.
That's why, and then I left.
So
And it's exactly what it, like, I left the butter knives, I grabbed this, and I left. And that's when I went right into my, I went into my car.
So you only took the butter knives out? Was there any other type of knife you pulled out?
That's it.
And what did you say to her when you had those knives? Did you say anything along the lines of, my blood is on your hands, or my blood is your blood, or?
No, I did not tell her that, no.
Okay. You just said that. Okay. And then did you pick up any other knives that were in the kitchen?
No.
Okay. Which knife did you?
The butter knife.
Okay. So just a butter knife. And then.
Well, I had the scissors. The scissors were in my car.
Yeah.
So that's what I had, the scissors. But I did not hold anything to her, or touch her, or anything like that. And that's when I drove off. That's when I left, and I drove, and I was going to harm myself.
Okay. So, did you?
Hey, Coach. Hey, man. How we doing? Tough day. Tough day. We got you, though. I know. I absolutely know that.
Never wanted me here, man. I worked so hard.
I know you do.
I put everything into this place. I never wanted me here.
I'm sorry.
Sleep, man. I haven't slept in a month.
551 negative at Trinity and negative at UMF.
Tell you, Coach, but we still got love for you. All right, it's going to require some more work right now. Look out for him. Just like we look out for everyone. Can I tell you what's going to go on? What has to happen tonight?
All right, Mr. Moore. So I'm gonna leave. I'm leaving here with Officer Escobar and Sergeant Gasway. All right. So, like I said, we can't relate, right? Like, but like I told you before, like, so like I'm trying not to cry with you, but like that's all you have to get through this for, right? Like, that's all that matters in this situation. So whatever help you need to get that help, and then let everything else work itself out. So, all right. Do you have any questions for me before I leave? All right, man. Well, good luck. Take care. Do you want to get grab my cuffs?
Can we just give them back to you later?
That's fine. Okay. Just throw them in my box. You said you discharged from one?
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you. Anything else for me? So, all right. I'm moving my car. I'm getting
Okay, you get out of here?
Yeah.
What this situation really demonstrates is how quickly legal exposure can expand once personal conduct intersects with professional authority. Even without physical violence, entering someone's residence without clear permission immediately creates criminal liability, and any prior relationship does not grant ongoing access or implied consent. That's a critical point many people misunderstand. It also highlights how prosecutors often recalibrate cases. Initial felony charges like home invasion and stalking carry significant prison exposure, but they require proof of intent, fear, or unlawful entry under specific statutory definitions. When those elements become harder to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, prosecutors will often pivot to charges they can secure, like trespass or misuse of communication devices, which still establish criminal accountability without the same evidentiary burden. Another key takeaway is how statements made in emotional or high-stress moments can shape the entire case. Even when someone denies wrongdoing, their own admissions, being at the location, initiating contact, or acknowledging the underlying relationship can provide the foundation prosecutors need to move forward. Finally, this case shows how charging decisions evolve into outcomes. Moore was originally charged with degree home invasion, stalking, and entering without permission, offenses that carry potential multi-year prison exposure because they require proof of unlawful entry and intent to commit or facilitate harm. But the case ultimately resolved with a plea to reduced misdemeanor charges, trespassing and malicious use of a telecommunications device in a domestic context. Those offenses require far less proof, primarily unauthorized presence and improper communication, and significantly reduce sentencing exposure, often to no jail time or up to 1 year maximum depending on the jurisdiction. Thanks for watching. If you found this legal breakdown informative, like, share, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.